Are you feeling stuck in your current career path? Wondering where to go next and how you could possibly get there? Then you're in the right place here today. I'm super excited because today we're going to delve deep into how the skills that you already possess can be your greatest asset in navigating career transitions. Whether that means moving up the ladder, switching industries, or going into a new professional environment, understanding and leveraging your transferable skills is a total game changer. So hello and welcome to day 2 of the 12 Days of Career Goals. I'm Teresa White, your host. I'm a career clarity coach and the founder of Career Bloom. And I am so excited to be speaking with Anna Belyaeva today. She is the founder of the Career Diet. And Anna's story is such a testament to the power of transferable skills. She pivoted careers 2 times without starting over or without taking a pay cut. And most incredibly, she moved countries 5 times. She has navigated diverse cultural and professional landscapes, making her an expert in identifying and leveraging those transferable skills. Anna is also a Stanford certified career coach, a LinkedIn learning instructor with 2 courses coming out in early 2024, and she has been featured in Business Insider, CNBC, The Sun, and many more. And I am so excited that she's going to be here today sharing her insights with us. So without further ado, let's welcome Anna. Hi,
Hello.
Anna. Welcome. It is so great to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I am so excited and I'm very happy that we get here today. It's mid-December. I feel like it's perfect time to get in the mood and start thinking about career pivot as we're getting closer to the new year.
I so agree. You don't want to wait till January 1st to start thinking about it. It is like now is the time where you also hopefully have some time to slow down and really get in the mindset of like, okay, what do I want my 2024 to look like?
Absolutely.
Before we dive into the transferable skills, I would love to ask you a holiday questions. What is your favorite holiday song or movie that you go to back to every year?
I love this question. I actually love holiday movies. I love rom-coms. That's actually my plan for pretty much the next 2 weeks. I was coaching my students today earlier, and I said I'm just gonna bake cookies and watch rom-coms. Like that's just sounds incredible right now. But the one that I've watched probably the most is The Holiday.
Oh, I
don't
love
know.
that
There's
one.
just something about it. Like
It's
it's
the
just
one where
so
they switch countries, right? Is that
yeah.
LA and England?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a cute movie.
It's cheesy. I love it. I'm
I know.
all for it.
I am all with you on the rom-coms. I would love to hear from the audience. Please let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know that you're here and share with us what is the favorite holiday song or your favorite holiday movie that you go back to every year. We would absolutely love to hear from you. And let's get into transferable skills. But before we dive into that, I would love to hear more about the moments in your career change journey where you changed careers 2 times. Can you share more about that with us and how you did it?
Yeah, I actually wanted to share a very specific moment where I had a big aha moment. And I think a lot of people will probably be able to relate to it. So it was a few years back, and actually exactly probably 5 years ago now. And it was just a few weeks before Black Friday. And I was still in my corporate job. I was alone at the office as I came in early. And at that point, I was in my dream career. Actually, before getting into this career, I went on a whole journey to discover what my dream career is. And now I teach my students how to go on this journey. And I ended up switching from accounting to design. So that's the career that I was in right before Black Friday 5 years ago. And I was working with designers and I was launching exclusive collections for Nordstrom, Anthropologie, Urban Outfitters. I was traveling to New York and LA to meet with the buyers. And I thought it was the coolest job ever. So I designed this job for myself as my dream career, and it was my reality. But after a few years in this career, I felt the disconnect. As you can probably imagine, Black Friday and the holidays in that type of industry, if you think of big retailers, is really the time of the year where they make the most sales. And my job was to make sure that we sell more and that people would buy more stuff.
Mhm.
Problem was, as I was sitting in that office and thinking, well, why am I here? Because I remember thinking, well, I don't really like to buy things. I don't really like to buy stuff. I don't want more
Mhm.
and I really changed in the last few years, and I don't really care about shopping or stuff. And in my personal life, I was actually kind of against Black Friday and the concept of it.
Mhm.
And I remember thinking that, well, I feel like this was once my dream career. And I was just ecstatic when I got it. And I really liked it in the beginning, but I changed and it didn't really align with me anymore. It didn't make me feel good. And I kind of didn't like it anymore. So I decided then that morning at the office that it's time to make another pivot and
Wow.
find a role that is aligned with the new Anna, um,
Mhm.
the new changed Anna, and the role that would make me feel good about what I do and the type of impact on the world that I would have that would actually align with me. So I went on that journey again to look at what lights the new Anna up, what's important to me now, what I
Yeah.
value, what I want to do for my day, for, or rather, what I want for my day, week, life to look like. And the result was actually me shifting now from design to the recruitment industry. And I loved it because I knew that now my work impacted real people, real
Mhm.
lives, rather than just kind of selling stuff. So, looking back, it really all that moment was really me looking inward. And I truly believe that career change and any sort of pivot always starts with looking inward.
Yeah.
And this is just so important to remember because if you are unhappy with where you are right now, like I was sitting in the office before Black Friday, and you feel like uh, you're not really aligned with what you're
Yeah.
doing, but your strategy is just kind of browsing on LinkedIn to see what might be interesting, or pivoting into something that is hot, or pivoting into something because it pays a lot, you will just feel that misalignment. So you will continue to feel unhappy. So I'm a big advocate of first looking inward when you start your journey. And that's what we always do with my students. We go on this journey inside my coaching program, the Start Candidate. I always encourage them, okay, you guys need to pause before we get into action. I know you're itching to take action, but we need to pause. We need to slow down to speed up, and we need to look inward first. So I'm curious if this kind of feeling misaligned with what maybe felt like the right career for you, if that resonates with anyone who is on the live here right now.
Yeah, please drop in the chat if anything resonates. If you have questions for us, please drop them in the chat too. We're going to try to get to as many questions as we possibly can. Your story is just absolutely incredible, Anna, and I can relate to so much of what you shared. And also, it shows that what is a dream job for us at one point in our life is not going to be our dream job necessarily 10 years later. And we are allowed to change, evolve, and grow. And that is okay. And once we turn inwards, then we can find some of the answers of where we might want to go next.
So much, yes. I actually believe that we change every like 2 to 3 years because we get into, like, if you look back to your own journey, and I encourage everyone to do that right now, your priorities and even your stage of life changes every two
Yes.
to 3 years. Your
Yeah.
priorities and what's important to you and where you want to be and how you want to spend your time changes every 2 to 3 years. So, of course, what's your dream career
Yeah.
today will be different from what it will be 5 years from now.
I
And
agree.
that's fun. Like, I know it might sound like, oh, I have to do this multiple times, but that's life. And like figuring this out is actually really fun. Like, what's next for me? What's right for me?
I'm so with you on that. It's what I love to do is figuring out this piece. So yes, it is. And it doesn't always mean we have to do a complete change, right? For some of us, it might be just a small pivot. For others, it might be a complete change of industry roles. But there's going to be a right answer for every individual person.
Yes, absolutely.
And I would absolutely love to hear from you. You just mentioned the term star candidate. Could you explain a little bit more about what a star candidate is and how transferable skills play a role in being a star candidate?
Okay, so I definitely talk about being a star candidate quite a bit, and so you definitely sounds like you definitely noticed that. And it all started when I was in recruitment, because that's what we used to say: we're looking for star candidates. And to describe you who that is, that's someone who doesn't submit hundreds of applications online. Someone who doesn't just go into an interview hoping and praying that they will pick me. It's someone who doesn't just settle for a job because that's kind of all they could get, but that's not really what they wanted. A start candidate is someone who knows that they have options. By the way, this is so incredibly attractive for the employers. When you know that you have options, they just get so excited. You have no idea. A start candidate is someone who understands that their job revolves around their dream style, not the other way around. That's a big one. A start candidate is someone who goes into whether it's interviews or networking meetings with confidence, knowing that it's a conversation, it's a two-way street, and I'm here to determine whether I actually even want this. It's someone who is in the driver's seat of their career. It's someone who knows that they have value. It's someone who knows, speaking of transferable skills, that you never start from scratch. Because you already have skills that you've spent years developing. And I'm a big advocate of becoming a star candidate, and that's my mission for everyone to become a star candidate, because I truly believe no matter where you are in your career and what industry you're in, you can become a star candidate. And I believe in it so much that I have a full program, the Star Candidate. It's my signature coaching program where I teach you step by step how to discover and land your dream job, and I turn you into the star candidate inside. So and transferable skills, as we said, is a big part of becoming a star candidate.
Oh my God, I relate to so much of what you're saying. My background is in recruiting too. And it is exactly those candidates you're looking for. It is really not the one who just randomly applies to anything on LinkedIn. And by the way, I have to be honest, that was me at one point. When I first started my professional career, I had no idea how to go about a job search. And I just randomly applied to a million jobs out there. Not a million, but a lot of them. And I had to learn the hard way that doesn't work. And then once I worked in recruiting, everything that you just said is like, that is what recruiters are looking for.
Oh my gosh. It's like, I remember the feeling of like, you look at someone's resume and you're like, oh my gosh, this might be the star candidate. And you call them, and within the first few minutes, just know instantly.
Yeah.
And they would, the best ones would always say, I'm good. I'm not looking. And we would always say, yeah, the best ones are not looking. Yeah. That's why I'm calling you, because you're that person. Yeah. And I, again, absolutely believe that it goes back to your mindset, your skills, including all the job searching skills that make you the star candidate, and not the experience that you have in terms of your professional experience.
True. Very true. And I always say all experience is experience. You never want to disregard what you did before, because it has value and you can apply it in so many different ways in so many different contexts. And that is what you want to leverage. And it's not about like, oh, I'll throw away everything I've done and I'm going to start over. That's not where we want to ever go. And you mentioned that a star candidate knows that they don't have to start from scratch, as we just said. I feel like a lot of job seekers feel that is the case when they pivot careers. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, let's get one thing out of the way. And it's that it's a myth.
Yeah.
You do not have to start from scratch if you are pivoting. And there are 3 reasons why. And anyone who worked with me or all of my students would know that I like things in threes. So here you go, 3 reasons. Number 1, you have to remember that you already have a lot to offer, and those are your transferable skills. And here's how I like to think about it. You have already grown to a certain level in your career, and you have developed those transferable skills that you can only develop, my friends, with time and experience. And that has value. So now you just need to connect the dots for the employer and market those transferable skills strategically. Because something that I teach and preach is that the most qualified candidate doesn't always get the job. And I'm sure you have experienced that, Teresa, in your recruitment
100%.
experience, that you have the perfect candidate that ticks all the boxes, and they don't even go to the last round because they don't know how to market their skills. So it's not about having all the skills. It's rather how you market those skills. So number 2, why you don't have to start from scratch, and why that's a myth that a lot of people believe. Diverse experience, different experience makes you a stronger candidate. I know it may not feel like that in the moment. It feels like, well, I'm lacking all of those skills and I have all of these other ones that they're not looking for. However, this different experience in a different function or different industry is a plus, but only if you see it as a plus and if you market it as such. And if you do so, that's how the employer is going to see that additional different experience. And number 3, employers want to see a pattern of success. That's very important. If you're listening, if you're writing notes, write this down. They want to see a pattern of success. The pretty much number 1 thing that they care about is seeing that you have been successful at something else before. So that concept of star candidates. So they always look for star candidates. They look for superstars. So those people are actually really hard to find. And in fact, there was one hiring manager that I used to work with who would say, if you come across a former athlete, like I'll just hire them. I'll just hire them on the spot because
Same.
of that pattern of success.
Yes.
And that's the same idea behind marketing yourself. So you can have all the perfect skills, but if you can market them, so if you can show that, oh, I've been a superstar at what I've done before, they don't really get excited. So it goes back to showing that you have been successful in the past. And speaking of starting from scratch and pivoting, I'm actually working on a new masterclass that's coming out in January, all about career pivot. And we'll definitely dive deep into this whole idea of starting from scratch and how you don't have to do that. So make sure that you follow me, and this way you won't miss an announcement and you can join us.
That sounds so incredible. And oh my God, that what you said is just, I had my hiring manager said word for word, I think the same thing. Like if it's a former athlete, I want to interview them. And it is because of that pattern of success. They are driven. They have know what it takes to work in a team. They know how to work hard and to really go after the success. And that's what they want to see. And there are so many transferable skills that you wouldn't think from an athlete into a corporate role.
Oh my gosh.
But those skills are huge.
Oh my gosh. I love whenever I see on someone's resume, when it comes to my students, that they've done any sports competitively. I'm like, this has to be in. Tell me about yourself. Like you have to really hit them with this. And actually that's what I used to do. I used to be a competitive skier. And that was like my 3rd bullet point in my tell me about yourself. And I would always bring you back to the role. So I would connect the dots, what we just talked about. And employers, every single time, like I just knew whenever I would get to that, like I knew it was like, it's going to land. They're going to love us.
Oh, so good. And so there's a question that just dropped in the chat. I would love to know for anyone who wants to change careers or industries, what practical strategies would you recommend for identifying their transferable skills?
Good question. So when it comes to identifying your transferable skills, and this, my friends, you would want to write down. I'm going to give you an exercise to do after. So you're going to want to take notes. So there are 2 steps here. So step number 1 is actually understand what the transferable skills are. And there are 3 types, and this is what you want to write down. So there are skills with people, skills with data and or ideas, and number 3, skills with things. So let's break this down. So skills with people are basically your soft skills. So think conflict solving, selling, persuading someone, managing, consulting. So working with people, think of your soft skills. Number 2, skills with data and or ideas. So these are hard skills. So things like, or skills like working with numbers or organizing or planning or problem solving. Okay. You with me, everyone? And then finally, number 3 is skills with things. So this is, again, hard skills, but more think like making things, right? Building, designing, constructing, again, making. So those are the 3 types of transferable skills that exist. Okay. So that's your first step. Second step is to now identify yours, looking at in each category. So the way I like to do it, and the way I teach my students inside the Start Canada program, I actually get them to look at their past 6 experiences. If you don't have 6 roles in the past, don't worry. It can be, let's say, 3 roles, your degree, a volunteering experience. So it doesn't have to be 6 roles. If you have 6 roles, you can use 6 roles. Or again, a combination of school and volunteering and different roles. And you look at every single one of them, of 6, and you look at what skills from those 3 categories you have developed and have grown and have shown in those experiences. And that is exactly what will help you to identify your transferable skills.
That is such a great exercise. And I love how actionable and doable it is for anyone listening in here. You can actually just do those right after this live. Take out a piece of
and you guys
paper.
will probably see quite quickly that, oh, like it's the same skill that I have done in the last 3 jobs. Or, okay, well, this one skill of, let's say you worked at a restaurant as, in the kitchen when you were in university. Well, you were making things, but that was like physically, right? Like skills with things. But that was just one experience a long time ago, right? But you want to look for skills that come up multiple times.
Yes. And I think there's a pattern for almost everyone. I noticed that with so many clients of like, okay, we see the same things that you're good at over and over. And once you see those patterns, it's like, this is maybe where I need to go into.
Yes, absolutely. And it's also something here you can also ask yourself, well, what comes easy to me? What do people come to me for?
Yes. Love those.
That's a good question to ask yourself as well.
Yeah, great ones. We just got another question in the chat, and that is, how can you effectively showcase your transferable skills in a job interview? Specifically in the question, it's in a final interview, but maybe you can expand on it, how you can showcase transferable skills in interviews in general and also on your resume.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. So some of it we actually have already talked about. Actually, both key things here we have talked about, but they're so important that I really want to reiterate them. Okay. So to articulate your transferable skills, there are 2 factors here. And when it comes to interview, I actually put it together in an interview success formula. So those are 2 parts of the interview success formula. So number 1 is what we talked about, showing a pattern of success. So how do you do that? It actually applies both to interviews and resumes. How do you show that pattern of success? Well, you show your results and you show your achievements. So thinking back to that athlete example, like if they have achieved something as an athlete, any sort of numbers, any sort of results you put on your resume, immediately you show a pattern of success. You show that I was actually really good at what I did before. So I always want for you, when it comes to job search, again, resume, interview, same idea. I want for you to get obsessed with this idea. How do I show them that I'm a superstar at what I've done before? Like, that's your goal going into the interview. When it comes to the hiring manager interview, that's exactly what they're looking for. They don't want just someone who has done marketing before, or who has done accounting before, or who has 5 years of accounting experience. That's not the goal. They want to find a superstar. So they want to see your results and your achievements. So that applies both to resumes and interviews. And finally, what I call connecting the dots. So we briefly chatted about it earlier, but what does that mean? I say it quite often. You have to connect the dots for the employer. What does that mean? It means that you have to explain to them explicitly, say it out loud, what you just talked about, what it means to them. So let's say, again, back to the athlete example. So you mentioned that in the interview, like I was a competitive skier. That was me. Okay, great. Cool. That's very impressive. So what? Why does that matter to me, the interviewer? And you as the candidate might be thinking, well, what you mentioned, Teresa, earlier, well, it shows that I can work on the team. It shows that I'm determined. No. You have to say that. You have to say that. And if you're struggling with this kind of concept, I want you to think about marketing in general. Like, this is the foundational marketing concept, where you don't just show your customer all the features, i.e. all the skills, but you explain to the customer, well, this is what all the features, this is what it can do for you. This is how your life, this is how much cleaner your kitchen is going to be. Yeah. Not just it cleans very well, but this is how much cleaner your kitchen is going to be. Yeah. So you have to do the same for the employer.
That is such important advice, Anna. I cannot agree more that it's not just telling them what you have. You have to really lay it out for them. You have to be like, and this is what it means for you, or this is so what? This is why that aligns with the role that I'm interviewing for, and this is why I'm going to be an amazing candidate. I was a competitive skier, and I was so driven to win this race that I practiced really hard, that I did all these things in the training because I'm driven and I'm goal-oriented. And in this role, right, I'm going to bring that same mindset to this role. And this is what I'm going to be doing in this role.
Yeah, I remember I did that with Procter & Gamble interview, P&G. And one of their values is like competitiveness. That's what they're looking for in people. And that's what I quite literally said that. I was like, hey, I used to be a competitive skier, and I know that that's the kind of people that you're looking for. And this is it. Like, this is a perfect, I'm competitive. You're looking for competitive folks on your team, and this is a perfect fit.
And it also shows that you did the research about the company, like you knew what they're looking for, and you were able to present yourself in the way that they're looking for it.
Yeah. And again, like, you have to think about what matters to them, right? Yeah. Like, I wouldn't bring this up that I'm competitive in, I don't know, kindergarten teacher interview.
Yes, exactly. Yes, 100%. Anna, this was an amazing conversation. You dropped so many nuggets of wisdom in here, and I know people took so much away from this. How can people get in touch with you?
All right, my friends. So as I mentioned, in January, we are launching my brand new masterclass on career pivot. So if this is something that is of interest to you, make sure to follow me so you don't follow me, yes, on The Career Diet on Instagram or here on LinkedIn, so you don't miss the announcement. And for those of you who are ready to take action, you're like, yeah, I am ready. 24 is almost here. I want to make sure that I'm taking the right steps towards my new career, and I want to pivot as fast as possible. You can now, this is actually something new, you can now book a one-on-one free call with myself and my team. We will do career strategy together, and we'll show you options of how you can work with us further. So you can head to thecareerdiet.com/book to book your free career clarity call.
Anna is such an amazing expert in helping people transition careers. So if that is on your mind for 2024, take her up on that offer. Make sure that you follow her. And she shares content consistently that really shares those actionable advice that she shared with us today. I'm super, super grateful that you joined us for this 30 minutes and
shared so much. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. And I wish you a very happy holiday season.
Same to you. We can exchange in messages what movies we're watching.
Exactly. We will definitely do that. Thank you again, Anna, for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
This was such an absolutely incredible interview with Anna. And as we wrap up the session, I want to go back to the things that she said. Like, if you remember her program, The Star Candidate, what makes that star candidate? Really keep that in mind when you're going into a job search. How can you communicate in your value in a way that aligns with what the employer is looking for? And how can you communicate those transferable skills that you already have, the experience that you already have? How can you leverage that so when you pivot careers, you do not have to start over? And as we wrap up this second day of the 12 days of career goals, I want to remind you to please register on the website. It is bit.ly 12 days of career goals. Let me actually blend this right in here, because everyone who does register on this website will be in for the drawing for these amazing prizes that we have in store for you. An ultimate resume upgrade, so a brand new resume, a deep dive coaching session with me. You can win a standout LinkedIn profile, and you can win 5 prizes of the Ultimate Transferable Skills Guide. So totally relevant to today's session. Make sure that you go to the website bit.ly/12 days of career goals so that you're registered, get the link to all those 12 amazing live interviews. You're going to get different bonuses, and you're going to be in for the drawing of these amazing prizes. Thank you again for joining us today. It was amazing to have all of you here in the audience. A huge thank you again to Anna for her amazing contribution. And stay tuned for more. We'll see you back here tomorrow.